Right folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And in this episode we've come to look at a cool bit of history hidden on the hill here, which is an abandoned house. Something rare but cool when we find them. And I'm not even sure if this is the right road, but I think it is. But literally in the intro, when I turned around and looked this way, I've noticed another abandoned house on the far hill. And that's how these adventures go, folks. Often I go on one adventure and I find another one, but what a crazy time to notice that one there. Yeah, this is a madness, folks. There's a lot of timber work going on up this road just now. I never give away the exact locations of these like abandoned houses and stuff that I explore, because I never want things to get vandalised or destroyed or even stolen. Because sometimes these little houses are like a little time capsule history, or you can get an idea how life was in the olden days here in the Glen. Look at this cattle grids here, folks. That's to stop your sheep going away down the town. So this is a late evening adventure, folks, and it's like after 7:30, and I think I've probably got like about 2 hours, maybe under 2 hours of sunlight. So I hope I can navigate to this little house here before the sun sets. Because literally, probably like 9:30 now, you notice that it's starting to get a lot darker and it's harder to explore, obviously in the winter months because of the daylight. But then the good thing about the winter months is that all the long grass and stuff is dead, and it's easier to actually see abandoned history and explore it. So yeah, there's pros and cons to the different times of year in Scotland if you're an explorer. On with this adventure, folks. I'll update you once I get nearer the house, because I think I've got a fair walk here. Look at this, folks. I'm walking through the wild hill here and there's nothing but thistles. There's a crazy amount of thistles in this area. The true flower of Scotland, folks. And yeah, look at this terrain we're in. It's wild and unforgiving, but I'm lucky there's a bit of a track here for me to walk on, because there could be like ticks and stuff in the long grass. Look, there's beasties. I don't know how well it comes out on the camera. Like every blade of grass there's like some sort of creature chilling out. Like, what a view down the Glen. Wow, I can see the sun lighting up the faraway hills. It's probably too far away to even come out on the camera, but wow, it's just breathtaking scenery. And yeah, we're heading on. There is an abandoned house somewhere within this complex of hills and grassy tracks. Look at this, folks, we've found it. It's crazy, like the scenery around here, every now and again I can see through like between the trees, and the scenery is just incredible. And then within the scenery we've got this little abandoned like nugget of history right here. Wow, looks like there's been something here, maybe an even older building. Not unless they've taken the stones from the surrounding area and just moved them to the side so they could maybe get some crops and stuff planted. That often happened back in the day. There is a lot of stones in that one area. But check this out, the last remains of a wee house here on the hill. It's so cool to see it. There's so much stuff. Again, this end's obviously pretty much destroyed, but the other side, again, it's got a roof and stuff, so I'm intrigued just to see the condition of it and to see if there's any history left. Yeah, I'm just thinking what's the best way to get around. It looks so overgrown at that point there. So we'll take a walk in this end, folks. Real adventures. Look at the size of this window. This has been a pretty big house, I think, on the hill. This is absolute horror at this point, because again, there's nothing but ticks within this landscape here, and that's because deer carve out these paths which I'm treading right now, folks. Again, and the ticks are obviously wanting to go and bite the deer and drink their blood, but if a human comes walking along, then boom, you're the victim of that horrible creature. Check it out, look at this. We're at the wall of the house. Yeah, it's like somebody has been around here. Maybe gamekeepers, I'm not even sure. The farmer maybe owns it now, but I don't think it looks used. Yeah, I love seeing little houses and imagining what went on. When you turn up, you know nothing about the place, and then by the time you leave, you often have a picture of the history and what went on there, just from the little things that you find. Look at these things stuck to me. Sticky willies, you call them, folks, and they're just so annoying. Hundreds of those wee things just stick to your trousers and everything. Wow, here we are. We're at the front door. Look at the wee dike line running off. This whole area is just wild, like long grass. And it is a crazy scene. I'm so hyped. Can I always think I must have seen like all the history that's available to explore, and then boom, the next week I'm just like walking into a whole other world, and it blows my mind, folks. It's so cool, and it's so much fun like documenting it and then sharing it with the world. And sometimes I find so much cool stuff. Anyway, let's go on with this adventure. So let's see what lies within this ancient property. Yeah, I can still see there's the remains of the windows. The glass is broken out nowadays. Wow, I'm going to get a torch on here, folks. Crazy climbing through that. Yeah, I'll get my torch and I'll check I don't have ticks all over me, folks, and then I'll update you. So check this out initially, folks, the old front door here with a wee brass handle and the old lock. And look, this roof here's on its last legs. It's just about falling right down. This is crazy, folks. Yeah, look, this has had proper blue gloss paint on it at one time. I can hear bees or something. Look at this old front door. It's one of these ones which is like two halves, which is proper cool to see. Wow, folks, what way will we go first? We'll go into the... Oh my goodness gracious me, folks. Look at the neck of this house. I don't even want to stand on that wood. Again, what you have to do often, read the land, read each footstep, folks, to stay alive. So what I'm doing is standing on the solid earth of the world. Wow, look, it's like the chimney or something's falling on top of this. All this could just give way at any moment. Look at the way all this is wood lined. See, that's the cool thing about making these videos. This could be like the last documentation of this place. And it's eerie having that, you know, the stones above your head, and they could just fall down at any moment. Look, there's been like a mantelpiece here. Oh, there it is over there against the wall. Wow. That's so cool, folks. Check it out. Often I can't actually believe the stuff I keep finding. Look at the character of that old bottle. Wow, crazy old history. Robinson's bottle. Oh, Robertson's. Robertson's fruit products, it says on it, folks. Look at this wee window as well. It's a shame when stuff like this gets smashed and broken into, or like over the years obviously the window falls out. Look at the detail there with the wee curtain. That's like old curtain rail with the hook still on it. And look how at one time it's been white, and then it's been that blue colour gloss paint at a later time with a white roof. See, I think they haven't bothered painting the roof when they've done the blue. That's the original white up there. Crazy layers of history, and I think when the chimney's fallen down, look at that, the bricks have been coming down the chimney as well as through the roof, which means the water will be coming through the roof as well, folks. Look at that old like brickwork and stonework in there. Crazy scenes. There's a piece of cast iron. Maybe a bit of an old boiler or a stove that was in there. Look at it there, the big piece. Oh, look at the stone. Oh, you can read where it was from. Oh, it's upside down. Yeah, I can actually hardly read it, folks. It might have come out on the video again better than it came out to the human eye. Wow, this is unreal right now. I can't believe what I'm witnessing. Look at this little window latch. This is cool. Often details like that are some of my favourite things to find. There's actually remains of like the paint on it. That was a crazy angle I went to there, folks. Yeah, so we can see here there's been a second room within here. Obviously the door would have come in that way. And oh look, there's been a little door going out to that other room, which that's the bit where we first saw the window. Again, it's just a wall with a window nowadays. So this was most likely just a wee lobby section here. Oh look, there's like mahogany flooring. It's like, that's an older type of flooring than what's out there. Yeah, I'm a bit wary standing on that floor though, folks. To go through to that next room, it's an intense adventure. One footstep and that could just literally fall right down. Is this a wooden house? Like honestly, everything inside is wood. I had to remind myself that I wasn't in a wooden house right there, folks. I'm going to sneak through this way. This could be a wrong move, folks, but live on the video, Real Adventures always say it. Oh, look at that. The old bedroom. Or there's a bed in it anyway. It was probably a sitting room originally or whatever. Or I don't even know the layout. I'm guessing that that other section was like added onto this, but it could have originally been a big house and this maybe was the bedroom. The reason I'm wary to walk about though is because the wood on the floor is connected to the wood on the roof. So literally my weight is like pulling down on the structure, and when you see the way it's already dropped, look at that. Proper airy, folks. But wow, I'm glad I've come to document this, because look, the roof's still intact. And they've had yellow in this room. Yellow paint. And a really nice fire, different to what we saw at the other end of the house. Yeah, this one's got the window latch as well. Look at that, folks. Crazy scenes right here. This is the sort of house, folks, it's super kind of eerie. Coming late evening when it's starting to get kind of darker. And yeah, the whole place is just a crazy environment. Wow, every time I move my feet here I can hear the floor over there moving. That's why I keep pausing. I keep listening. Look at the bed, it's almost like what we saw in the ROC bunker. That's one of those old beds with the metal springs as the base. Oh, it's a wooden door handle in here, folks. That's quite rare. Normally that stuff's rotted away. But it's cool to see the individual details of each little house that we normally explore. It's so cool. The old lock mechanism. Yeah, this has been so much fun. Something different. Look, it's almost been like a magnolia type of colour. A kind of salmon colour. Look at that, there's a leather strap nailed on there. Little nugget of history, folks, nailed on there. Yeah, I don't actually see like light switches and electricity in this house at all. There is a hook on the like on the roof there, and I believe that's for like an old paraffin lamp or a tilly lamp. So that shows you this house is from the era when there was no electricity. And can you even imagine that? Like, again, it's only like a generation before ours, and it's like, yeah, we think we're advanced in technology, folks. Look at this, I've just noticed when I was looking through the hole in the wall here at this, I noticed this cool detail of history. Look at the old latch. Look at the door handle's got like some sort of mental like mechanism on it. The torch was at a poor angle, sorry about that, folks. Again, it's crazy, some of the old door lock mechanisms from back in the day. Because that handle actually operates the lever, which is unusual. And look, here's another detail of history, folks. Look, that old like 1970s can right there with the old ring pull. I think in the 80s they changed it for that, like that. Yeah, wow, crazy history. Along with the juice ball in that can. Maybe somebody for the Glen's been camping here years ago. Look at these lower latches here as well, folks. Wow, I need to get a photograph of that with the moss and stuff. It's got so much character. It's abandoned decay at its finest, folks. Nature just takes back over. Out on this moor, this crazy grassland with a forest around it. It's real wild Scotland with like a crazy bit of history like hidden in the middle of it. And we've been lucky enough to explore it. Look, there's been a wee shelf here. The birds are making it into their house these days. Look, there's big stones here. But then I suppose that you don't know what's happened in a place like this over the years. It's probably been abandoned since before like the 50s even. I can't imagine anyone staying in this kind of after the 40s, like, for what I've seen. Look at that, there's like some big hook on the roof there. And look, there's another one over at that side. Wow, I can actually see up in the attic and it's eerie. It's an eerie scene, folks. Looking up through that gap, I can see the eaves of the house. I just keep noticing more little details here, folks, so I'm just walking around taking it all in. That little skylight there on the roof, everything's been done with the wooden panelling and the wooden shuttering. Yeah, that's some crazy little doorway. It's actually a narrow little door. Wow, and look, there's been a shelf or something here as well. I reckon there's maybe been like the kitchen or whatever's been this end and then the sitting room at the far end. Or the sitting room might have been through in that other building to the side, which is just like weeds nowadays. And I think this piece here is another bit of the back of the fire. It's crazy because when you first turn up you think, look at all this junk that's been deposited in here, then you realise it's all just deposited for the house. These are all parts of the house right here. Even this down here, look, that's like an enamel. Yeah, enamel's the right word, I think. And it must have been somewhere at one time, maybe on top of the mantelpiece. So that has been cool, folks. It's like this video and the photos even at the end of this video and stuff, it's like often a representation of how the houses and that looked at one time, and it's cool because this is obviously on its last legs. A few months or even like a year, that'll just fall in. So it's cool to remember how it did look with the full like wooden panelling. Even though some bits is a bit wonky nowadays, like it still looks as it might have been. You can get an essence of the history, folks. It has been cool. Yeah, I've really enjoyed like seeing this, and it was out of the blue. It's crazy, you just find like a nugget of history hidden in the wild like hilltop. Wow, I think I've documented all the details. Everywhere I look inside the house, you can see like they have painted it that different colour. I think the whole thing has been white originally. And then look, the front door. It's been painted yellow, but originally it's been green. Yeah, it's been a crazy scene, folks. That door's obviously like boarded up with that, but it just takes you to like pretty much the bit we walked past on the way in. So yeah, we've documented this, folks. Let's head on with the adventure. It's always cool just seeing the different stuff that's around at these different houses for different times. And I think this is one of the first scenes I've found that's had no electricity at all, or it's like, normally houses are just in a terrible condition if they're that old and they're still abandoned. So it's interesting to see this scene. I'm just ducking under the roof here. I'm away out. Look, there's a couple of sheds. We need to hear a wee peek. We need to hear a wee peek in here, folks. Just because we're on this mad adventure right here into the unforgiving wilderness of Scotland, and you never know what you're going to find. Wow, look, this is where they must have had animals. See, it's been like a little farm. See, they would put like the straw and stuff in here, and then the coos and that would be in the shed. Can't think about how many coos they had when this is the size of their coo shed. It's changed days nowadays. Here, I'm literally hearing a noise. Oh, look, it's the tree rubbing on the roof. Listen, folks. Can you imagine being alone, right, in a shed, which is this dark, if I put the torch off, right, and then you hear that noise that we just heard. I hope it came out on the video. Proper eerie. But literally it was a branch rubbing on the roof. Look at the construction of this. It's like the stone cobble floor. See, this is how a lot of Scottish farms were originally, and it's so cool to see this. Kind of what I like about this, it's like untouched for that era. Kind of taken their belongings out and their animals away, and it's just how it would have been when the cows were standing here. And there was probably still straw in there and it like rotted away. Yeah, and then there's been something else at this side, like more feeders. And then look, there's been a wooden partition here originally. And that's what this has been here, a bit of a pillar. Look at that hook on the roof there, folks. Crazy farm history right here. Look at that, there's an old bit of a machine. Look, it's a bit of a chain. A chain for driving something. An old bit of farm equipment, which was probably stored in here at one time. And that's the sort of history we'll have to find. What is in here? Oh look, there's feeders up on the wall. Oh, an old milk bottle. Crazy history right now we're witnessing, folks. Yeah, look, there's been like feeders and stuff up on the wall there, and it's much the same as this shed. The terrain is just insane. Look, this is almost like where you might have imagined they had the horses like harnesses and stuff hung up, or maybe the bull's harnesses for hooking onto its nose ring. Maybe this was even like the horse shed, because farms obviously used horses like modern farms use tractors. So as I was speaking to the camera there, folks, I could just literally see a spider web in front of me, and that's the conditions we explore. Crazy nature. Yeah, look, see how this pillar is there connected at the top. The other one's been here. Look where that is. It's been nailed on or pinned on, and at a certain time it's fallen down. It must have been knocked down, like. Hear that with the wind again. The branch is swaying with the wind. Look, there's the last remains of the history of the door hinge. Look, folks. Doesn't it look as old as the original building here? Yeah, I've really enjoyed this place, folks. We've been in a crazy abandoned farm, and like literally look at this surroundings, folks. It's cool to keep finding places, even like this, which is like, it's the back of beyond, and I've had to walk a good couple of miles to get here. But when you see this, it's like a little postcard house here. Kind of, it's little sheds, and that's often what a croft was in Scotland. Kind of little farm croft was just like a wee family, and they were like, they would have a few cows, maybe a couple of sheep, and a horse, and maybe they had a couple of fields here or whatever. This is times before these trees were even planted, folks, so it's like, that gives you an idea. The whole land here on the hill was different, but we might come back in the winter when it's easier to kind of navigate around here, because look at this, at this time of year, folks, it's like waist height nettles. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And look at these big stones. I wonder if these were deposited here when they were working on the farm as well. And then look at this, tree's probably grown from the time this house was here. I love seeing stuff like that and imagining that history. And this tree was maybe a seed put in by the folk at this house. Kind of crazy thing with a history like this. I can see the wall is just literally on its last legs, and it's just crumbling. Maybe with the weight of snow and stuff on that in the winter. That's what's wrong with it. It'll push down on it and compress the walls. And that's how we're out here videoing it, and the history's kind of saved in a small way. It's never as cool on the video, obviously, as seeing it in the flesh, but yeah, some people obviously all around the world can see what a wee house in Scotland looks like on a wild hill. That's a cool thing about YouTube as well. Anyway, I'm going to get a couple of pictures of this because it's got a character. See that, folks? The character of that right there is why I love exploring. Can you see something like that and ask the question, like, is there any little remains of the history within it? And then when you go and explore it, it's so cool. The adventure of getting to these places too, it's just wild. And you never know what you're going to see. Sometimes it can be the wildlife that surprises you, sometimes the landscape, and then other times it's the history that you find. But then see some adventures, folks, you get all three of those. It can be just an amazing adventure. But I can't believe how many sticky willies are stuck all over these, like laces. Certain fabrics, like they just stick to it. Anyway, we're back in this porch because it's the easiest way to navigate around the house. Crazy scenes, folks. Wow. Yeah, I'm just heading on out around here. The character of this is wild, folks. I've got a long walk. I just hope the sun hasn't set by the time we get back to the car. But I didn't think it will. I think I've got plenty of time. Wow. I can't believe how much like wood that house has been made out of inside. And look, there's a garage here. I wonder what lies within a place like that, folks. It is the wildest thing. Maybe in the winter we'll have to come and explore and just document any more history, but like I've said before, I don't like giving away locations of places just to save them. It's a nugget of history. Here I can actually see there's no actual a wall in the garage. You don't need to open the door to see in it. See, that door in the house must have gone into that garage, and this wall here with the window looks like it's not even been connected to that at all. So this has maybe either been a separate house or just like a shed. Yeah, this could have been a separate house or a shed here. The old wooden lintels are still on the top of that. Yeah, this must be like farming history right here, folks. Whoa, I'm total falling over, look, bits of pipe. I'm just wanting to peek in here over the top. This is probably the old walls and roof that I'm like climbing on right now. Yeah, look, there's nothing in there at all. There's the back door of the house. It must have come out there and then the boy could have accessed this. This must have been another shed. That's what we're dealing with here, folks. It's a wee croft hidden on the hill. Whoa, these stones move about. I am fleeing around on them. Yeah, we've seen a wee croft, but the house was like the coolest bit of it. And like I thought on the way in, these stones at the far side, I think they've been like moved off this area. Probably even the area where the trees are. And yeah. Whoa. Then they'll probably had like crops and maybe even like animals. What, folks, I've just noticed like a crazy thing. I don't know if it comes out on the camera right. There's a tree in front of me. Well, obviously there's hundreds of trees, but like right about there, there's something in the wood there. A square thing. Oh, what it is? It's a wee shooters. It's a wee shooters like lookout. Oh, I should have gotten more photos for this angle. Yeah, so there's a wee shooter's lookout kind of bit there, folks. And shout out if you're one of the gamekeepers in this area and you're watching this video, you'll recognise this wee house. You're maybe even sitting in there right now looking at me through the scope. But the thing is, I come with the greatest of respects. I love just coming and documenting the history, and then I'm on my way. And that has been a cool one, a special one. It's fine just to see something different like that, and I'm always amazed like every week. There's so much history just around, and I keep uncovering so much spontaneously, folks. It's wild, but yeah, epic. I've got to go through this moor and then back out onto that hill road and then head on down, so I'll update you once I'm further on with this adventure. Look at this, folks, the craziest thing, right? Random as anything, there's a white horse over here. A big white horse. And it looks like a unicorn. The crazy thing though, there's not even like a gate or anything like that down there. Like that horse could just be walking away miles. Because I don't think the cattle grid would have that hang up. Like, it's a big white horse. I just hope it doesn't come over this direction and kick me in the head or something. Wow, that is so cool to see though. It's so random because when I walked in here there was no sign of any of that. Whoa, there's a massive dragonfly, right? Live on the video, folks. It's not the biggest thing I've seen, right? Oh, here it comes. It's right in front of me right now, folks. There's a dragonfly which is like 4 inch long, which is quite big, but not the biggest I've seen. Look, it's way past me. Wow, it won't have even come out on the video. I know it won't have. They're so crazy and so cool, those animals, but see when they're big, they just creep me out, the way they fly about. And I see so many of them on my adventures, folks. This is crazy, folks. I can't see the white horse anymore. Now there's a brown horse where the white one was, and it's just staring over this way. It's the spookiest thing. Yeah, crazy, folks. Real adventures on the channel. Anyway, I'm heading on with this. I've made it to the side of the forest road here. Right, folks, that's crazy. I'm just about back at the main road now, after walking pretty far down the glen. And yeah, it's been a cool adventure. I'm using this timber stack here to do the outro, but it's been crazy to find another bit of history. And it's not often I'm out like late evening exploring like that, but it's been cool to get that explored done and out the way. And I kind of been there, and wow, what a special place. And yeah, what an adventure it's been to come here. Right now I'm waiting to go home and actually edit my next video, which is not even the one that I just recorded, folks. And that's how it works with this daily upload business that I'm in amongst here. We're out having fun, doing adventures and uploading each day and stuff, and it's crazy. Look at that, that'll burst a tyre for sure, folks. See that? I saved the gamekeeper's price of a tyre. But yeah, what crazy adventures it is. I love to have like a wide variety of adventures on my channel as well, and it's like, it blows my mind the variety of stuff that's around in Scotland to record. But yeah, I'll end it here. It's been a cool adventure. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Wherever I end up going, I'm not sure, but it'll be cool.